stir it up and do things our way. So if you wanna move, get out of our way.
Cheers, darlings. I need to work on it.
You need to practice that like off camera.
Yeah. I practice it once a week on here with you guys.
Yeah. Is there a vocal coach? I mean, there's plenty of vocal coaches in LA. Is there a vocal coach who is listening to this? A dialect coach who's willing to work with Jordan pro bono? Because I'm not.
Yeah. Well, if you can guess whose accent that is, which it's pretty hard because I'm awful at it, but we're talking LVP, we're talking Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 1, the morally corrupt rewatch. And here we are at episode 4.
Finally.
Yes.
Finally.
This episode, each week.
One.
Yeah, each week brings back a flood of memories, and this one was special. I hadn't thought about it in a long time. It was the dueling toddler birthday parties.
Yep. Yep. Dueling children's parties that neither one really cared about, but one was definitely better than the other, and it's not the one who spent more money.
Yeah, this one opens with Taylor going to a jeweler so she can pick out what was it, diamond Barbie necklaces.
Yep. There were so many. I was like, wait a minute, I'm taking so many notes just on the first like 3 minutes, but I was like, diamonds for a 4-year-old? Are you effing joking with me? Like, when I was 4 years old, I would have just loved like a rhinestone tiara, like, or a bedazzler, like, so I could just put rhinestones on everything. Like, I don't know what diamonds are. Diamonds are tchotchkes, you know what I mean? They are like fake. It's glass to me. Like, I don't care. Who knows? But and I wrote it even at the beginning of this. I go, these things are always more special for the parent than actually the child.
Oh, this whole episode with Taylor's, we'll get into it, but it was absolutely not for little Kennedy. Nothing about this party was for
even Adrian called it out later, or was it LVP? One of the two called it out later on.
We had both of the two richest housewives being like, this is way over the top and way weird for a little kid. Taylor was trying to impress them and keep up with them, and they were like,
Can I just say real quick, like at the diamond store, I was like, I had this flashback because when all of a sudden the jeweler talked about the cognac diamonds, it took me back to the movie Beautiful Girls when Michael Rappaport's character is trying to get propose to Martha Plimpton's character using a champagne diamond, and everybody's like, it's a brown diamond. He's like, it's champagne. He's like, it's the newest thing. They're like, it's a brown diamond. And now we got these fucking cognac diamonds. They're trying to sell us chocolate diamonds. Like, no, they're either white or they're yellow. That's it for me. That is my opinion, and that is a hill that I will die on for sure.
Yeah, these cognac chocolate diamonds, it's marketing to take low quality diamonds and make them desirable.
Exactly. No. You could take those brown diamonds and shove them right up where they came from.
You know, it's funny too at the jeweler. This was such a like little time capsule for me when Taylor says, the guy's name is like Alan Freeman or something. He's like, remember, this was filmed in 2010. And he goes, he makes jewelry for all the stars, including Queen Latifah, Jessica Simpson, and Paris Hilton. I was like, Jessica? Well, wait, what year is this?
Yeah. Jessica Simpson, man. Jessica Simpson.
Ooh, what else? Oh my God. Something else. We basically had 3 competing storylines on here. We had the kids' birthday parties. We had I guess this was a B plot, you would say, would be LVP and Max with the going to music.
I feel like this was like the mothering episode. We had 2 competing ones. We had LVP with Max and doing that whole thing. And then we also had Adrian, and we're seeing her 3 children and her being a mom. But at least like she was like I mean, she's playing with her kids, and we're kind of like, do you play with your kids that much? But she was very honest about that. She was like, I have a part-time nanny, I have a cook, I have a housekeeper, I have this, I have that. And I was like, I feel like you're kind of realistic about this. Like,
Mhm.
you're like, yeah, I like my kids. I spend time with them. I don't spend all my time with them, you
Yeah.
know, but I also don't, pawn them off onto everybody and then act like I spend all my time with them like some other housewife this season.
Yeah. We see someone go, I was gonna say Mother of the Year. I don't know what you would call this act, but LVP had. I didn't know what holiday was it that they were. Was it a birthday? Was it? It was like a big surprise. They're in Villa Blanca, and they
I think
flew
it was her
Max out.
birthday. I think it
Okay.
was her birthday. Yeah. Because I think they mentioned that at the previous dinner that
Mhm.
she cooked at her house because she loves to cook.
I've always felt bad for Max. I mean, this is
Yeah.
his introduction, and it's all one of the first things she says about him is, he was adopted by a family of high achievers,
I
and he
know.
doesn't really fit in. I was like,
Ouch.
yeah. I was like, oh, poor. You can definitely have always seen who her favorite is. Pandora's her little product.
Mm-hmm.
Like Pandora is that frilly girl
Mm-hmm.
who likes
Yep.
flowers and pink bows. She's hers. She's a
Mm-hmm.
product of her mother. And
She's a golden
Max,
child.
yeah, absolutely. And Max, I guess, comes home from this caught my attention is that she
Mm-hmm.
explains how she had sent him away because he had been ditching school and smoking weed, stuff like that. And she sent him away to a school in Idaho. And my first thought was, we know now with Paris Hilton and the documentary, Provo. Provo's in Utah, but it sounds to me like she sent him to one of those, what do you call those schools?
They're like,
Reform.
these like reform schools that are really terrible. And they're all over the country. Actually, they're all over the world too. Like they
Mhm.
have them down in like Costa Rica and like Puerto Rico and like tons of places, like all over the world. I saw another documentary about it. I think it was on Hulu. I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, that was my first thought too. And I was just like, but this is the thing. I mean, not always. Granted, these are two childless people talking about raising children. So this is we're total experts. There's a part of me that also goes, what if it was just that like he wasn't challenged in school, in the school that you're already sending him? That it's not that he's not a high achiever. He just achieves in different ways. Like the school
Mhm.
that you're sending him to didn't really tackle the needs that he has academically. And if you switched him to a different school, but I don't know. I mean, we don't know all the ins and outs of him, but that was kind of my thought of like,
Yeah.
oh God, I hope he wasn't Paris Hilton.
I did enjoy the tour of the music school that he wants to go to, like this music post high school, like a college-ish music academy, because LVP is so terrified and so out of her element because it's a few miles down in Hollywood, and she
Yeah.
can't stop saying how much Hollywood horrifies her.
It's literally like 6 blocks away from where I currently live.
And she's asking these questions like she's sending him into like a third world war zone about security and drugs and mischief and riffraff, whatever her charming ways of saying it were. But I mean, she was so like,
I wish she asked the guy who was giving the tour about like housing and stuff like that. He kind of looked dumbfounded, kind of almost like, wait a minute, you're not going to let your child stay with you in Beverly Hills and then just commute into class? Like, or you don't want to get him like an apartment here and like this, because it's not exactly a technical school, but it's not a university. It's not like a 4-year university or anything like that.
yeah.
So it's like, yeah, like he seemed very dumbfounded and I was dumbfounded too. I'd have the same look on my face. Be like, excuse me, lady. Excuse me, rich lady who lives in Beverly Hills.
I know, yeah. That's the other thing. It's not like, okay, she was so terrified that she like downplayed it. She went there in this little building that she acts like people are gonna jump out with used syringes. Like she really thought it was like a back alley, but she's there in Chanel and diamonds.
Yeah.
And they took the big Bentley. They took Ken's big Bentley convertible. So I was like,
No.
I
I
think
mean,
I think
honestly, don't do
the
that.
guy leading the
Period.
tour, I think, was puzzled on many levels, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ugh. Well, I did enjoy, speaking of more mothering, like when Adrian was playing, and Adrian and Paul were playing with their sons. She kept messing up her sons' names. I was just like, see, Adrian, she's like all of us. She's like all of us, except for
Mhm.
she's really rich. But she also is one of the, I always thought this, and I don't know how to say this in the right way, but I love Adrian so much, but she also dresses kind of like a normal person in the sense that like she doesn't have the greatest fashion sense. Like you
Mhm.
could tell she's not always styled per se. She's kind of like, I like that. I think that looks good on me. I'm just going to wear it. I don't care. I want these little strings in my hair. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'm going to put on a fucking visor. I don't care what you think. And that's what I like about her. She's not all like,
Mhm.
I got to wear what everybody else is wearing. I got to look like how everybody else looks. And that's one of the things I've
Yeah.
always liked about Adrian is she's just like, fuck it, fuck you guys.
I think her
I'm me.
attitude is that she has bigger things to deal with. Like she's a business
Yes.
owner, and and so she's like, this show's nice, but I'm not losing sleep over if Kyle thinks my shoes are stylish, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like she would not paint the soles of her Aldos red. She would just go, yeah, I'm wearing fucking Aldos. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah. One of the highlights of this episode for me is Camille's trip to Hawaii.
Mm. Actually,
This
for me, it was even the lead up to the trip to Hawaii. Like oh my god, I have to plan so much. This would be so much easier if Kelsey was here.
Remember, Kelsey, it's revealed, has his own hot tub separate from theirs.
That blew my mind. I actually did not remember that at all. And I was like, wait a minute, he has
Mm.
his own hot tub. And apparently he has his own master bedroom. Now, I'm okay with that because snoring is an issue. I think snoring is a form of abuse in a marriage. So if you are a snorer and you don't do anything about it, you
Mm.
should have a separate bedroom for that. Yes.
This one is where, again, like I felt like last episode is where we start to wonder about their marriage. Like that was Vegas. Camille's very flirtatious and needing
Mhm.
attention. In this one, she talks about how she spent 12 years keeping Kelsey sober. And the way
Mhm.
they both speak about each other in their confessionals has been spent time, wasted.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's transactional. I've given him 12 years. It's that form, which almost means like they put a cap on the partnership. I
Mhm.
feel like the cracks are showing.
Well, I feel like the confessionals of her in the black outfit with the white piping, that is before at least she for sure finds out that he is cheating on her. And the other ones, like with the kind of champagne top and the other one that she wears in this one, those are ones that she's doing after she has found
Mhm.
out that he's cheating and that her marriage is over. Because there's definitely a distinct different vibe coming from her because she is way more humble and she's still Camille Grammer, but she's a lot less humble in the black
Mhm.
and white outfit than she is in
Yeah.
these other ones because this was one of those episodes where the first half, I mean, I wrote down, I go, this rewatch is reminding me why I disliked Camille so much. Like she's so performative. Like she's not as good of an actress, I'm going to say reality TV actress as LVP because LVP is acting at times, but she's really good at convincing us that she's not.
Mhm.
But Camille, you kind of see it's like I have 30% more to do. Like all these women are busy. We're all busy, but I have like 30% more to do. 30% more to do when you have like 4 nannies. I guess it is a lot of work. Like you coordinating 4 nannies and housekeepers and
I
house guests and all this stuff. I don't know.
I love that line because like we were just talking about Adrian, who the show is like just something she does. She has bigger fish to fry. She's running an empire at the time. And Camille, like I said last week, everything she says in her confessionals, there's this catty humble brag to it. She
Mhm.
smirks with everything she says. So like well, like this episode, she says, I'm sure like every woman's important and has important things to do. I just have even more. Like I'm even more important. And then you'll see she makes some remarks about Mauricio in the upcoming episodes, but it's a theme throughout her. In case she ever wondered why people hated her.
Well, it's like she tells everybody she's so busy all the time. And it's just like a person who tells everybody that like I'm so humble. I'm so humble all the time. I'm so humble. I'm such a humble person. I just can't believe like all this stuff is happening to me. I'm so humble. No, if you have to tell people you're humble, you're not humble. If you have to tell people you're busy all the time, you're not busy all the time. Busy people don't have time to actually tell people that they're busy. And that's my thing with Camille. Like, you're not that busy. Who are you trying to convince? But I do feel for her because I do think like taking care of an addict is a full-time job. And especially like when you've got an egocentric, rich, famous addict, like that is a lot to go through. So there's like a balancing act with like dealing with Camille. It's like, I can feel for you, but I can also go, you're also doesn't give you an excuse to be an asshole to everybody else. Like
the peak of that humble brag, which is one of the scenes that like sticks out in all of Housewives history to me, is in the hot tub when they're finally in Vegas, and we get introduced to Dede, who Deidre, but she goes by Dede, who is Camille's best friend, number one fan, biggest protector and supporter. She gets choked up and emotional when she talks about how wonderful Camille is. And in the hot tub, who is it? Dede and some other guy, Carl, who we don't
who
get a
is
bigger.
he?
I
Like
don't
that's
know.
I was rewatching it because I was like, wait a minute, because I remember first thinking when I first watched this that maybe it was her husband, but it's not her husband. I don't think. Like,
It's some random guy, some random older guy,
creepy guy too,
telling her how hot she is, and she's loving the attention. And remember, because she's so humble, she looks at them and says, "I think I've helped everyone. I like in this hot tub. You are my charity cases. Now come and praise me." And they all jump in. You're so wonderful. You've saved my life.
Well, she calls herself Jesus. I think I have a Jesus complex.
That was the best line.
And she's sitting there just like I am right now with her like boob. I mean, she does have great boobs. Like she's not like she's got a banging body, but I was like, dude, I was like, really? Oh my gosh, girl.
And then so she says, "I think I have a Jesus complex," and then cut to her confessional, where what she's saying is how giving back is what feeds her soul. That's what completes her. She does give. She gives us a lot of iconic gifts, memes,
lines. Oh my gosh. You just she does give. She gives a lot. Oh gosh. Well, but can we go back to the dueling part? Can we finish this up with the dueling parties? Yeah. Let's
the
do
dueling parties. Yeah. So I guess we go back to Taylor's. We should just call it Taylor's. She says it's for Kennedy's, but
it's Taylor's. Yeah,
it's
Taylor's party. I mean, when you talk about, I'm sorry, because I agree with Kyle that at least for like small children's parties, like you should not be having alcohol there for like the adults. Like, hello, and Kennedy is 4 years old. Like, no, actually,
we are getting split screens of the planning.
Oh, that was great. I made notes for that. Like we get our first look at party planner extraordinaire and another famous, gif and meme for Beverly Hills Housewives, Dana Wilkey.
She appears, and I did not know. I didn't realize until I watched it again this week that she had it, because she goes on to become $25,000 sunglasses, but she never registered to me in this first season. She has dark hair. She has dark hair, and she comes back a couple seasons later as a blonde.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. And I literally have 3 exclamation points after brown hair. I was like, she's got brown hair. She's got brown hair. Oh my gosh. But I do love, so like the chirons underneath her when they're talking about Taylor's party is that basically Dana Wilkey's fee is approximately 12 grand per party. And then when they're talking to Kyle and her party planner, what's his name? Jeff, I think. I didn't write it. Glenn. And she uses Glenn. We see Glenn throughout the years, throughout the ages. Glenn, his average fee is $3,000 per party. Like there is definitely this whole like comparing and contrasting how much they were spending per party.
Yeah. I mean, Taylor's comes to a total of 60,000, I believe. And that was one of those things I'm always bringing up with this season, how shocking the amount of money they spent in this season, like changed the Housewives game. I remember such buzz about spending 60,000 on a 4-year-old's birthday party. There's another one of those like, oh my God, these aren't just Housewives, you know? Kyle's was 12,000 for Portia, which it's still a lot to me to spend, a lot, but it was it was a kid's party. It was kids. It was for the kids, like you said. She wasn't interested in alcohol,
and it was at their house. It was at their house, whereas Taylor's party was at the Houdini estate, which is cool. Which is so funny because you drive past the Houdini estate, you don't know it's the Houdini estate unless you know. Like, and it's off of Laurel Canyon in Los Angeles. I used to drive by it all the time. Well, I still drive by it all the time. But anyway, but it's a great place, and it's definitely an event space. Basically, it's used as an event space now, so it's very popular to rent. But yeah, like, I mean, and Lisa went to both of them, and she just was like, when she went to Kyle, she very much was like, this feels like home, I think is what she said. Feels like home, and it feels like a kid's party. And even Kyle was very upfront. She said, Portia's not going to remember this, but this is a family party. There's a family that all the families here, family can like feel like family and like can enjoy each other. And that's what that was. And I go, I agree with that. Yeah. It is a 2-year-old's birthday party. They're not going to remember. But
and where she splurged were on things for kids to enjoy, like moon bounces and petting zoos, where Taylor splurged on things like floral arrangements and musicians, and something that really, when they finally arrive and Taylor's coming in with Kennedy to the party, is that this was so confusing. I'd have been terrified as a parent. They were serving the kids like soda or juice, whatever it was, in champagne flutes.
Yeah, I know.
Little Kennedy took a swig from a champagne flute, and I'm like, how do you keep the drink straight?
I agree.
Yeah.
Because luckily, I don't think they were pouring Martinelli's. I think it was lemonade. I think they had lemonade in there for kids. But still, it's just too much of a chance. It's just too much.
You know who one of the guys, by the way, one thing I caught that was so tacky at Taylor's, well, amongst many things, but when they arrive, if you look in the background, those are LA City standard trash cans, have them in the backyard. They're spray painted Louis Vuitton LV.
No, I did not notice that.
Yeah. The trash cans were black trash cans. Black trash cans here in LA are for like your garbage, like your plastic bag, kitchen garbage. And it's spray painted with stencils to make it Louis Vuitton print. Talk about Bougetto.
Bougetto. Oh my gosh. Well, did you see there were at least 2 shots that included Linda Thompson at that party? I saw Linda Thompson there for
She's
sure.
Back. Also, there's a couple of people. One is her friend Dwight.
Yes.
Did you see Dwight?
I forgot about Dwight. Like, because we haven't seen, did we see him even in season 2 or just season 1?
No, like the thing that's odd about him is he kind of disappeared. I don't know if he's even friends with Taylor anymore, but who he is friends with is Kathy Hilton.
No.
Yeah, Dwight Coates.
No.
Look him up.
Oh my
I had
goodness.
no idea this is the same Dwight that was with Taylor all those early years. Yeah, they go to like Mr. Chow together. They're like,
What? So was he, do you know if he was already friends with Kathy at that time, or did he
I
just
don't
like
think
move
so.
up?
Yeah, I think he moved up. I think
Mm.
he's in. I don't know what. I don't know his exact. He's in finance or real estate, something like that. Him and his
Mm.
husband. So I think through because the way even he talked about Russell, he said like he talks business with him. So he's in some kind of field that brought them together. But I was like, I was almost like, wait, was it Kathy would? Kathy would have someone who was introduced by Taylor. I don't know. I was just like, is it good for him?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I was like, oh, is like Dwight Taylor Cedric? That was my
Yeah,
thought.
that's what it kind of came off as.
But I was like, where is this guy coming from? I was like, oh my goodness, man. Yeah, and
Oh,
poor Kennedy just seemed like she was just so didn't want to be at her own party.
good. I don't even think it was just cameras. I think it really wasn't a party with her in mind.
No.
The speeches, the speech Taylor gave, thanking people for she didn't know what to say. You could tell like she's trying to make it sound meaningful, and she's like thanking, thank, thank you for coming to celebrate how much it means to me that my daughter is a part of my life. What does that even mean?
I would like really hope that Taylor was drunk at that point when she said that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Because I mean, she came in and grabbed champagne. I think she that
Yeah.
speech was just like it did not. I think she meant well, but
Mhm.
I think I
Yeah.
don't think she's the most maternal.
Well, I give Taylor a lot of leeway because of Russell and like what she went through with
Mm,
Russell. I mean, we all know that she wanted to marry and get to a certain place in life, and she compromised with that with Russell. But that still, doesn't mean that she should be abused or anything like that. And it's like dealing with all of that crap, and then what she had to deal with. Not that it's like really traumatic, but like, oh, she bought something that like we said earlier, she thought was going to be very special for Kennedy, that necklace, and she
mhm,
really wanted to present it and wanted it to be the main thing. But then to be, overshadowed by Russell giving Kennedy a dog, which they'd already spoken about, and Taylor did not want because
mhm.
knowing exactly what she said and what is the truth, and then later what ends up happening, but was like, that was hurtful because he needed to be the center of attention
Mhm.
for that, for at least when it came to
I
his daughter.
did think it was sad in that moment because when you flash
Mhm.
forward to the future, knows what happens. But you see the genuine affection he had for the little girl. It's the only time you see him warm and his guard is down and he's like affectionate. I mean, I don't know them, but it's the only time he seemed like he was capable of love. It was when he
Like,
was bringing.
I'm
I
such
like.
a skeptic. I'm such a skeptical bitch when it comes to that man because I just kind of go, no, I think he was using it against her. Do you know what I mean? I think it's
Mm,
just like a war of attrition between them. But I do hope for Kennedy's sake that you are right. It-
yeah, I
You
was
know?
sad. We'll save it for later this rewatch, but
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. At least
but
on a lighter note, like with Kyle's party for Portia, Kim was late and Kim will always be late. It just was like Kim will always be late. Kim will never be on time. And let's always set that example for the rest of your life. And
I
Kyle,
like.
why are you ever thinking anything otherwise?
I was like when Kim was like, I'm normally very prompt. When never, no,
At least he even called her out on it. It was like, what?
no
Like, no,
one,
you're not.
yeah.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Um,
Man.
Well, next week though, next week is another iconic. Every episode of this season's iconic, but it's New York. It's New York.
It's one of my favorite gifts ever. I love to send it to people all the time, and it's hard to find though. That you're such a fucking liar, Camille. Like I love to send that to people.
I like to take the aftermath of it. There's a GIF where that goes woman to woman in the booth. They're all gasping because someone said the F word.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No wonder I like this franchise so much. They were all blushing and clutching their pearls. Dainty like me.
Oh, well, we get to talk all about it next week. It'll be fun. Very nice.
Well, on that note, by the way, if you guys want to help me, I'm planning a $60,000 birthday party for my cat. So
well, she deserves it though.
Yeah, there'll be magicians. You guys, if you guys rate, review, subscribe, and follow Pretty Corrupt Podcast, you might get an invite. But of course, share with your friends, your magicians, your party planners, etc. Of course, hit us up Instagram and TikTok at Pretty Corrupt Podcast, Twitter at Pretty Corrupt One, and of course, we have a new way to see us: YouTube. That's right. PCP is on YouTube, so you could see our beautifully soon to be redone faces if you help spread the word, and we get that.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah, there we go.
Get that Maloof money.
Mm-hmm.
So, who wants to say bye? Cheers, darling.
Cheers, darlings.